Hey everyone, it's Patrick Bell here at the Profit Acceleration Software Q&A call. I'm joined by our partner and fearless leader, Carl Bryan. Carl, you there?
Yo, Pat, what's happening, buddy?
Oh, it's a good day. What a day.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we're here today. We're going to take some questions. This is a reminder, this is a Q&A call. It's not necessarily a training, but you know, magic happens once in a while, as we're going to show you a little bit. And but let's just open up one of the lines. Maybe Carl, you want to do that and see who's here. And
Sure will, buddy. We got Greg Kell. Greg, I'm coming for you. You're muted, by the way. You got to unmute yourself if you want to say hi, Greg. Don't be shy, buddy. Don't be shy. Let's see if Greg's going to open up. Possibly not.
Sure.
Oh, there he is. Greg, you're live, buddy.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't say hello.
How's it going, man? What's happening?
Good, thank you. Just starting up, and I don't have any questions. I'm here to learn and listen.
Okay, then tell us, can you see Pat's screen by chance?
Yes, I can.
Good.
Beautiful. That's right. Well, welcome, Greg. Is this your first call?
On the acceleration software, yes, that's correct.
It is. Oh, cool. Put your seatbelt on, man. Magic's about to happen, Greg. I'm going to warn you, buddy.
Thank you. I love the product. I've been using it, and looking forward to have great things happen. I appreciate you bringing me on, but say hasta la bye-bye.
No, good, man. Okay, cool. We're going to put you back on mute. You did your job, Greg. We just want to know if we could hear us. Let's go do one more. Steve Cantrell, we're coming for you, buddy. I think you might even have a question. Yo, Steve, what's happening?
Not much. I was just noticing when I signed in that the microphones were all still on, but you rectified that situation.
Oh, did we? Oh, there you. What? You could hear everybody chit-chattering?
Well, no, when I came in, the little green icon from microphone, I unmuted myself, but I noticed that the group mute hadn't happened yet.
Oh.
I was just passing along a little. Don't forget.
Okay. Well done. Thank you. There you go, man. Tell us what's happening in Steve's world. What do you got cooking?
Oh, I got 2 appointments next week. I belong to what we call On Par Golf Networking.
Okay, yeah.
And every 2 weeks we go out and play 9 holes of golf. Instead of sitting in a bar having a networking drink, we go out and play 9 holes of golf.
I like it.
And I had 2 guys come up to me after the event and said, "I want to talk to you." And I said, "Well, we can do that." And the other one came up, had his secretary call. And I thought, hey, this is working good. So that's what's on tap for next week.
Cool. Okay, so I want to, because I love that idea, and I guess we have some folks listening. By the way, are you a good golfer, Steve?
I chased a little white spheroid.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I got a handicap of about 38. So there you go.
All right.
But I'm not shy to get out there and whack the ball. But no, so walk us through. I want to understand, if you don't mind, how does golf networking work? Like, just walk me through it. You come in and there's groups of 4, and you swap. What's the dynamic, if you can explain for everybody?
Unfortunately, it's in the heat of the afternoon here. We meet at 3, and everybody shows up. Generally, in the wintertime, there's about 20, 25 people that show up. The first hour beforehand, the first 45 minutes, if you will, loosen up, stretch, go hit some golf balls, come back, hand some cards out, that type of thing. The organizer of the event at 10 minutes till has a bunch of raffle things. He hands out tickets and does that for things that we've handed out. And by the way, it's good if something happens like this. The 10K book works wonders.
Yep. Beautiful, no doubt.
Throw 2 of those in there and get contacts that way. The 10 minutes prior to the shotgun start, everybody goes around and says, "Hi, I'm Steve. Want to earn $10,000 without spending any additional money on marketing or advertising? Come see me." So it works. And then we get together. We break up into our foursomes. go out and play the 9, and it's a scramble format, so everybody's going to the best ball. And then at the end of the night, when everybody comes back in, it's usually about 6 or 7 under par for the group that actually wins. So
Gotcha.
somebody out there is making a lot of birdies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, love it. So you play like for everybody listening, we're playing best ball, right? So instead of,
Correct.
because if everybody shot, it would take forever. So what you do is all 4 shoot, and then you pick up the three balls that aren't the best, and then you shoot from. Everybody shoots from the best ball, right? You keep doing that. So
You do that, and you just take it all the way to the green, and everybody putts.
yeah, there we go, perfect. And then at the end of the night, is there more networking? Is there somebody up there talking? What's that look like?
A little bit. It's not real formal. If somebody wants to take a look at the website associated with this, it's called onpargolfnetworking.com. That's all one word.
On par
Golf networking.
Okay, if I could spell, that would help. There we go. Okay, cool. So, all right. So now, have you given any obviously this is working. Who's running the show?
When you go to that site, you'll see him. It's one gentleman that decided he was tired of doing networking groups like the BNI and all that, where you just go in and sit around and everybody's inside, for the most part, twiddling their thumbs. We all love to play golf, so he started this 5 years ago. I got associated with it last year, and so far it's worked out great.
What does he do? Is he a business? What's his business?
Oh Lord, he's kind of a conglomerate, if you will. His name is Tyler Doherty. He's got Doherty Insurance. He's got Doherty Real Estate. He's got a Series 7, Series 63, whatever it is, finance advising.
I got you. Okay,
Jack of all trades.
Okay, that's good. So have you given any consideration to starting your own similar kind of networking group?
Not at this point in time.
Yep. And that's good. Just for everybody listening, I can tell you, his name's Steve, the guy who runs it. Is that right?
Tyler.
Yep. Oh, his name's Tyler?
His name's
Tyler. Yep. So if you've got 20 people, let's say, you said 25.
That's in
Tyler
the
will get. Yeah. Okay. So 25, but Tyler gets more because what you're trying to do is get referrals and somebody just sent you somebody, etc. Let's just say action for your business. Tyler will get more action for his business than the other 24 people combined.
Absolutely.
On a week-to-week, month-to-month, annual basis. And that won't stop. So just for everybody listening who's thinking golf, business, networking, holy smokes, that's bringing a few things together that I like. I want to encourage you to think about starting your own, right? Like, and it's fine. Like you can continue to do Tyler's, right? Obviously you are, and that's totally fine, Steve, clearly. But I would think about doing, like, maybe he's doing it in the afternoon and then you decide that it's too hot at 3 o'clock for you. So you do a 7 o'clock networking, or you feel like that's too, you come up with a reason, right? That's too early in the day. So you're going to get people together at 6 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. And you're going to put some sort of a spin on it, so make it a little bit different than what he's doing. Again, then you will become the person that instead of, because you just said you got 2 referrals from it, and that's good, and high five. But I would dare say that you'd have 10 or 12 if you were the guy running it, and that would be consistent throughout the year. 100%. I get a saying, the person at the front of the room makes all the money. So Tyler's at the front of the room. That would be cool. So.
Yep.
So something to think about, buddy, and for everybody else listening, because I really like that idea. That's very, very cool. So golfing and networking, and then you're keeping people away from, sitting dormant. You're kind of more of an active lifestyle kind of thing. And
Correct.
I think that there's a lot of value. And then for those listening that like, what's that called? Pickleball. I know we have a client. He does pickleball. Do the same thing. Like you just hire out a brewery and do pickleball inside. So now, if you're not in a climate that it works, in Arizona where it works, and all year round, you could do pickleball inside. You could do all kinds of, do ping pong. You could do badminton. You could do tennis. You could do whatever you want. So anyways, for everybody listening, I love this, Steve. Thank you. I'm glad we opened you up. Super cool. But I want to encourage you to think about getting your own going. You might not be ready to now, Steve, but it's something I think you should think about in the future.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Anything else for us? That was one bit of magic. Anything else, Steve?
Wave your magic wand. I will ruin your whole day.
Okay.
Last week, Thursday, I think, I went out and played. We have a course here called Starfire.
Yeah.
And it's a par 70. And I came in with a 74.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
well done. Well done, Shoots.
Yesterday, I went out and played and got an 89. So there's no consistency.
Okay, you didn't finish. Okay, Pat, we didn't let him finish the story. Okay, that's not so good, man. That's not so good. But there you go. You and I will have to go golfing, Steve. It sounds like we're
Absolutely.
equally sporadic.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Steve. Cool, man. Gonna put you back on mute. Good job. That was awesome, man. That's why we do these calls. That's awesome. Pat, are you a golfer, by the way?
Oh, I am actually.
Are you?
Yeah, I played a little bit this summer, probably every second week, maybe.
Yeah. Any good?
I'm an Army golfer. You know
What's that mean?
Left, right, left, right.
Ow! I got a broken rib, dude. Don't make me laugh like that. Oh, how did I not expect that? There we go. Oh, that's good. All right, buddy. Okay, we got a question here from Mark. And guys, again, if you got a question, you need to you gotta queue us up. So either put up your hand or chuck the question in the box, and we'll open you up. But Mark, we are coming for you. He's got his hand raised, and you are muted. There you are, Mark. You're live.
I'm live. Yay!
Hey, what's
That's
going on, man?
Good place to be, and I love the comedy hour. I'll be using that Army joke.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
So I have a question, and then I also have a comment about the recording from Tuesday's session.
Sure.
Which do you want first?
Question.
There you go.
Question. So if I go I'm in my profit acceleration, I'm getting ready, I do the priorities, I rank them 1 through 5, I hit save. There's a whole bunch of numbers on the right that say priorities.
Yes.
And I don't know that I've learned what that means or where that comes from or how to explain that.
Okay, so simply there's an algorithm behind this. And a couple things are going to happen. Mostly it's based on your revenue impact or your profit impact, mostly. However, we put cut costs, we default it to the top. And that's always going to be at the top because it's a way for you to find impact in your business. Secondly, market dominating position always has an X factor attached to it. So all things being equal, if you found 4% here and 4% somewhere else, you're going to do market dominating position first because that impacts everything else. So it's about a 3X factor or something. So now we've got let's say 5% here. If you came in and said, yeah, I can make 50% on alliances and joint ventures, that would probably bump up alliances and joint ventures right to the top, right under cut costs. Because if it's such a big deal, go out and get it quickly. But all things being equal, market dominating position will appear next if it's, if you found an impact there. The rest is really just based on the revenue or profit impact, and then it's the time to implement in months. So if we jump that down, you can see that it's going to go down to 406. And now we resort that, it's going to be in 4th place. So that's kind of how it works. There's not a lot of magic behind it. So to explain it, yeah, you can get it to a client or a prospect and say, we've got some X factors in here. This just helps us understand the approximate implementation pathway. You might take them over to this screen and say, look, it shows us we're going to do this in January and this in February and this in March. In reality, we're going to be doing a few things at the same time. But this is kind of how it's going to look over the next year. And the idea is we want to get clients for a year and not just for 3 months, which seems to have been the average. We want to elongate that coaching relationship. So it's kind of more of a sales tool. It's not something at this point you can manage by, although that is in the works for something in the future.
Yeah.
So answer your
Mark, oh, sorry, Pat, can I just expand on that? And Mark,
Yep.
So could go, yeah, stay right here, please, Pat. So like one of the other things that, like, let's say that, like, where did it go? Creating an compelling offer drop down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, this is one of the ones that I personally am really passionate about. So what I would do is I like doing that. I'm good at doing that. So it makes sense. Remember, progress equals happiness. So I'd encourage you to kind of look at the 12 areas, go to the ones that that you're passionate about, that you're good at, and within reason, of course. If they've already got a killer upfront offer that I'm not going to be able to expand upon, or I don't feel like that's somewhere we're going to get massive traction initially, then I'm not going to put it up there. But if they don't, I'm definitely going to put a higher level of priority on it because it's just something I like working on. I'm good at working at it. And I know that if they implement it, they're going to get an increase straight away, right? So, and then remember what I said, progress equals happiness. So early on in your relationship, you want to make sure that you're putting some runs on the board. And that's why Pat's got it. So cutting costs automatically pretty much goes to the top, or it does go to the top, because if they got 20% margins and you make them a sale and they make $1, they only keep 20 cents. If you go to their expenses and you save them $1, they keep 100 cents. So there's an 80-cent variance there. So it would make sense that, go to their expenses first and just make sure, because if you can find, say you're $2,000 a month, 24 grand a year, if you can find $24,000 immediately and quickly, this just makes sense, right? And maybe it's drip campaign and maybe it's digital marketing that you're really good at. Well, then put a higher level priority on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, good strategy. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. And actually, can you go to the other screen now, Pat? One more thing I just want to expand upon. The other thing, so now you see, just scroll down. Thank you. Perfect. So I've always found, like, you take on a client and managing expectations is always the challenge. Like, you get going and they just want everything done yesterday. So the way we've got this laid out is, clearly you just see that, cutting costs is going to take us roughly a month to be able to pound through. And by the way, you might pound through that in a week or 2 weeks, right? And then that means that market dominating position is going to move forward. But it allows you to just, manage expectations with your clients that, look, all this, that we can't work on all this in 1 month. That's why people, that's not going to get us anywhere, right? What we want to do is want to go dig in, learn what we need to learn, implement what we need to implement, get it into your business and fulfill, and then move on to the next task, as opposed to try to, juggle a bunch of balls and drop a bunch. So this allows you to give them a bit of a visual where they can feel comfortable that, oh yeah, I can see a logical sequence of events and how this is going to work in chronological order, and make them feel comfortable with that, effectively helping you manage those expectations as you start to work with your client and they understand that it's a process. Does that also help, Mark?
Yeah, golden. That's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Everybody, go, Pat.
I was going to say, and just bring in your coaching wisdom into this as well, because you see here we've got additional products and services as number 3, but very closely related are your upsell and cross-sell, and then also bundling. So these are 3 things that you might be able to tackle at the same time, and maybe should tackle, to see what else can you sell that either you have or someone else has that you can source. How will you put it into an upsell, or how will you bundle it? You might be able to tackle all of this in 1 month. So just kind of think through those things as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep.
There you go. Other question for us, Mark?
Yeah, well, I had a comment. On
that's right.
Tuesday's call, somebody brought up the idea of summarizing the accelerations programs that we've done for clients and seeing what the average was and different things. So I thought, well, I'll do that. So I took the last 6 that I've done this month, and I found additional revenue of almost $1.4 million for six clients. That averages out to $229,000 of additional revenue found per client, and additional $206,000 in additional revenue. And I average using only 4.8 of the impact areas in coming up with those numbers. And my average percent, and some were higher and some were lower, was 11%.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Holy cow. So no doubt you're affirming the fact that that's going to be, if we had all those calculations done for you, that's going to be magic?
Well, I think that, I mean, it took me 10 minutes to pull 6 of them together and copy all that stuff. And then I pulled what industries they were, and a really wide range of industries was really fun too. So I think it was just kind of put, more bounce in my step. And also I think the ability to share client successes in kind of a 30,000 foot overview can't hurt. I'm going to put it out there on LinkedIn and Facebook. And then it was very interesting for me to look at the grouping. I had a coffee shop owners, I had a speaker consultant person, I had a tax specialist, I had a computer repair store, I had a wine, tea, chocolate specialty store, I had a realtor. So it was like across the gambit, and darn it, it worked.
I love it. Cool. Well, there we go. A high five. And I agree. That's going to be really, it's going to be super helpful to lay all that out. In fact, Pat, does that work just rehashing? Because I think some of the folks may, look at this. Hang on a minute. Look at this. So if you guys want to see how quickly this man works, check this out. Mark, you're going to be impressed, I think.
Well, I just teed this up for Patrick. I'm a shill in the audience.
You did.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So, thank you, John. I think it was John Kosar, right, who gave us this idea. And I was just playing a little bit with it this afternoon. And I'm not sure if we've got everything we want, we've got some work to do on the design, but we put assessment number. How many assessments have we done? We might be able to take that out. Company name. We can't really show the actual company's name, so we'll just call it company name. Number of assessment categories completed. So we only went through 2 categories: starting revenue, 1 year, potential revenue, expected revenue increase, expected increase as a percent, starting profit, 1 year profit, expected profit increase, expected increase as a percent. We got some averages. And then I built this graph down here. So we have the current company 1. And this is really just their revenue and their profits. And then I tacked on there the coaching fee. And this coaching fee is $2,000 a month, by the way. So you can see how tiny that is compared to the numbers you're generating for that client. And then just some nice numbers here: average revenue increase, average profit increase, average ROI from coaching services from the profit increase. I do like your number, Mark, total revenue found. I think we'll add that one in there somewhere. The trick is getting it all on one page and making it so people can just, coach can print it out or just pull it up on their screen as a PDF or as an Excel spreadsheet. And it just looks great. And so if there's something out there, like all the coaches on the call here, if they're looking at this, go, man, Pat, you're really missing something, and that's what it is. And I really wish we could include that. I mean, this would be a great time to speak up, and I'd love to hear it, because I'd like to get William on this, Carl. I think it'd be really useful.
Yeah, no, agreed. Pat, could you just go back to for anybody who wasn't on the last call? I think we can do this really quickly. Could you go back to the software here quick?
Yep.
I want to make sure they understand. So go to the dash here. So what we're doing, guys, okay, so under assessment, so what happened is John opened up and he said, here's what I've done. And I think we kind of ran with it, Pat. We just say, look, I think we can do this for you, something to that effect. But he went through, just like Mark said, and he added up, all the money that he made from all these individual clients. And we thought, well, holy smokes, you see where it says assessment name, edit, and then delete. Why don't we put, like 3 or 4 categories in the middle there where it'll be like a cumulative total. It'll be like XYZ daycare, valuation increased by X, revenue increased by X, profit increased by X. And then those 3 numbers would be there for all the different businesses. You'd have a cumulative total at the bottom, and then you could be looking at it. And then we kind of ultimately picture something like what Pat just showed you. And that's a document that we, that gets populated from all the info that you could then print off, and maybe, you print it off and show it to a client, print it off and put it on Facebook, whatever. So that was the genesis of it and how we started. We're like, oh my gosh, that would be really good. So as Pat and I, you listen to the last week's call, you hear us just going, oh my gosh, like that would be so cool. And what if we did this, Pat? And what if we did this? And that's where we end up. And then Pat literally, between Thursday and today, has put together that spreadsheet.
This was Tuesday this week, Carl. We talked about it.
Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday. Oh, that's right. It's Thursday today. I don't even know what date it is. There you go. Tuesday to Thursday. There you go. In 48 hours, folks. In 48 hours. So there you go. So that's what you're looking at here. In fact, maybe Pat, what we'll explain maybe. So then one of the challenges that we saw with it is that you want to be able to keep your clients' results. I don't know that you need to keep them overly confidential, but you'd be crazy not to, put it that way. So instead of having them right there where I kind of just described it a minute ago, there'll be a link below where you'll click it, and you see the way he's got on the left-hand side, company 1, company 2, company 3. Instead of having the company names, he's going to have, it's going to be listed as 1 through 7 or 1 through 10, so that you're not giving away any trade secrets. That, again, I don't know that there's a huge amount of trade secrets there, but we just want to protect everybody. So that's the genesis. That's what Mark's talking about. That's what Pat just showed you, and that's what happened last week. So there we go.
There we go. So thanks for the ideas, guys. Such a great reason why we share ideas here. And if there's something that we go, oh my goodness, it's a great idea. Maybe William, our developer, can get right on that. And we'll see how quick we can implement it. But I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, cool. And Mark, we're going to put you back on mute. Nothing else from you, Mark? Are you all good, bud?
I'm good. Just I want to know if Patrick ever sleeps. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, I know. He's an efficient son of a gun, man. Boy.
I got to sleep at 2:30 in the morning.
Did you? There you go.
Yeah.
Commitment, team.
Anyway, my brain can
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Sometimes.
Appreciate it, dude. Pat, you are a rock star, dude. In fact, speaking of which, Christine just said, wow, in capitals, Pat. I'm totally impressed, and I'm sure everybody echoes that.
Cool.
Okay, so underneath Christine, Craig, we're coming for you, buddy. He's got a question. You were self-muted. Open you up here, Craig. There you are. You're live, Craig.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate it. I am just still in the baby step stage, and actually got my PAS credentials on Tuesday, and I had my first assessment tomorrow morning. So just one thing at the early stages of my learning and developing seemed to not fit. And that was when I looked at the coaching ROI page and I had listed, a 1997 with a 10% back end. I do not see the 10% factored into the numbers.
That'll be in here. You got to click on this extra link.
Okay.
And it'll come here and it'll show up there.
Ah, there it is. I did not know what that link was. Thank you so much. That was very easy.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we just wanted to hide it because it might not be something that you show to a client. Mm-hmm. It might be something you say, hey, if we do that, this is how much money we might make if all things go well.
Right, right. It's always we're having this gambling effort here to try and get you the most money we can, and I'm saying if we can do it, I'm going to make more. But the relevant factor is what their numbers are, not mine.
Right, exactly.
Got it.
Hey Pat, if you don't mind, I might just get you to do that slower. Make sure everybody saw it. So you're here on the coaching and the ROI tab,
Yep.
right? And then you put in a 10% contingency in the coaching fees. If you scroll, can you scroll down a little bit there for us? And now that you see the contingency, you see the way the 23,000 looks like a little doormat, and then the ROI of coaching is 1,200%. So logically, you'd keep them, if somebody was viewing your screen, you'd keep them here. But now Pat has included a 10% contingency, so he clicks that blue.
Save it.
Yeah, saved it. Clicks that little graph diagram, we'll call it, and now, yeah, you can now see the contingency factored, which is 51,000. But they won't, unless you click that, they won't see it. Okay. Cool. Good job, Craig. Great question. Any other question, Craig? You all good?
No, I'm still too much in the dark about what I don't know, so I'm going to leave it where it's at until I get to
It'll all make sense. Yeah, don't worry. Put your seatbelt on.
You know.
Yeah, there's going to be a steep learning.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Be proof of the pudding tomorrow morning at about 9:45. I'll know what I don't know. Right now I don't.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, but you'll be surprised how quickly it'll become super straightforward. So have faith, my man. Have faith.
Very logical.
Cool. Okay, Craig, going to put you back on mute. Good job. A great question from one of our newbies. Scott Gibbs, we're coming for you, Scott. Scott, you're live, buddy. What's happening?
Hey, Carl, how are you?
Hey, fabulous. What's going on?
Patrick, you understood the thing I sent you last night, I think, right? That where that was on the increased prices page? Or was it on the cut? No, it was on the cut cost page, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forwarded that to William. Thank you for that, and hopefully he'll take care of that soon.
All right, so that was one thing. The bar charts. If you go to the bar charts below, and I mean, it's mice nuts in the grand scheme of things, but it was confusing to me as I ran through it with a client yesterday. So we show revenue of 1.5 for a 1 year projection, and then we stack the profit on top of it.
Right.
So it to me, like I'm looking at a 1 year projection now of 2, but it's a mix mash of.
Exactly. Yeah. All we're trying to do is make a comparison there. It's not showing that you're going to make a million to show 1.519.
Gotcha.
So all we're trying to do here is say, hey, here's where you are currently in revenue. Here's where you should get that blue line.
Okay.
Here's your current profit. Here's what you're going to get. That's the little coaching fee on the end.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Scott, hey, sorry, Scott, you see the way Pat did that, but Pat, do that again. Put your cursor on the blue and then the green. Like that's what you want to do, guys, right there.
Yeah.
Here's your current revenue. Right. You see that? Boom.
Yeah.
That's the secret right there.
Yeah, that would help me through that. Perfect.
Yeah. Cool.
And then for the valuation, I assume the way it takes into consideration debt in the model would be to, when you ask the question, there's a question that says, how much could you sell the whole business for today? Sell the assets for, I think, or something like that. Oh, right there. Yeah. So that question embedded in there is the level of debt in the business, right?
Not necessarily. It might be all debt free. If you've
right,
got,
but if you have debt, the owner's in his mind, he's got to be saying, okay, it's a $7 million business, but I got $2 million in debt. So.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question. When we built this, we were looking at more as not as something that we're trying to nail down an exact or valuation, but something that's very approximate. So the idea is we want to say to people, look, here's your current revenue, or here's your current valuation here, the chart on the right there. And this is indicative of what's going to happen if we were to make this kind of impact. So not only are you going to increase your revenue from 1 million to 1.519, but your business value is also going to go up. Now, this number isn't something you can take to the bank, but this is just indicative of what we're looking at. And this is why we really want to make an effort to implement this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I just wonder if the model tips one way or another if you're dealing with on the edges with a highly highly leveraged business. You know what I mean? I get the directionally correct stuff. I'm with it. It actually came out. It was interesting. It came out within, I don't know, 10% of the guy's prediction at the start of the meeting, right? The valuation. So I'm not suggesting it's, I'm suggesting it's directionally correct already. As I was thinking through it though, I'm like, man, I wonder if the guy was in debt, right? How the model would incorporate that, but it's probably beyond the scope of this.
Okay, cool.
His business.
Scott, can I just? Oh, sorry, Scott. Can I? So the guy had a number in mind, and then you went through the process of creating a valuation using the software, and you were within 10%. The software ended up at about 10% of what he thought.
Yeah, actually about 7.5, Carl. Yeah, about 7.5%. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because I said it when he said the valuation at the beginning. I said, well, we're gonna figure out how close it is. And so it was very, very a positive point in the conversation.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is there any way you just went through the priorities, you were talking about prioritizing them when you actually went to implementation, but there's no way to really manually prioritize, right? You'd actually.
At this point, no. So what we're trying to do, I mean, it'd be nice to take this implementation calendar and just be able to click on this green thing and move it around. In the upgrade that we're bringing into this implementation calendar, it's going to take this software, I think, into the stratosphere, whatever that means. It sounds really good. It's going to be so amazing that this might become where you do a lot of your coaching inside this implementation calendar, because there's going to be all kinds of crazy things with it. Maybe sometime in this call, if I can find it, I'll pull up that spreadsheet we're trying to design around it and get to our developer, but I'll have to hunt for that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That thing. Yeah.
The way his business had actually decreased revenue year over year for the last 3 years. The way I think I did it right. Instead, you would put in 100 where it asked for business growth if it was flat, 102 if it was increasing by 2% per year, and 95 if it was decreasing by 5% per year, right?
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so I did that right. And then is there a way, do we have an offline tool to just show the positive impact of price increases? You know how we added at the end of the increased price section, the impact of price increases and the number of customers you'd have to lose to actually make that detrimental to your business? Do we have a spreadsheet offline similar to that one profit calculator?
I mean, it was all created from a spreadsheet, but it's kind of, I'd say it's proprietary information for LPW. And so those aren't the kind of things that we want to release out there. That'd be my personal preference anyway, if that makes sense. Like you could probably just do that in the software as you talk about increasing prices.
Yeah, I'd have to toggle back and forth. Yeah, I was just wondering because I mean we have the sales tool in place for the for the percentage, the 10% versus 50% increase in the the profit calculator.
Right. I mean, you can always go in here and look at the chart, and we give you the formula to do it. So I'm sure it's a pretty easy build. So you see it there.
I don't see it
cool.
now.
All right, so we're in increased prices.
Yep.
You scroll all the way.
Oh, you're not. I think your screen might be
frozen.
Hey, there we go. How's that now?
Yeah. Now I got it.
Okay, sorry, I paused my screen. So we're in increased prices. You can scroll to the bottom. There's charts, and this chart pops up. These are all the numbers you need. And
okay, gotcha. That's enough. I can recreate from that. No problem.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
And then, this number here, I think we batted this back and forth for about 3 or 4 years, Carl. We finally now that's how we decided. We had these strange numbers coming up, and we just couldn't quite get our heads around it. But anyway, it's once you know it, it's really easy. But it took a while
Oh
to
yeah,
get.
it's been presented in a ton of sales training, different sales training programs. A great tool. Yeah, so I didn't want to have to recreate it myself.
Yeah, I've never seen
There it is.
Perfect.
anyone else. That's good.
Carl, the last question, probably for you. Have you ever worked with a ceramics company that creates like technical components for ceramics?
Ceramics? No, I didn't. And why do you ask? Like, what's the dynamic? What are you trying to accomplish?
This business I'm in, they're 20 or 30 years behind the time in their sales and marketing, and it's ripe for
Is that all?
huge improvement, right? It's ripe for an MVP. But man, they have no clue what their MVP is. So,
Yep. What are you thinking? Which direction are you going with it? Like, what's
I don't
the?
know. I mean, typical of these older companies, right? They say, well, our MVP is quality and customer service. I'm like, come on. I mean, that's table stakes, right? So
Yeah, if you can go to the direction that because because their products are so good that you're going to make more money. Because they're so good, their clients are going to make that much more money as a result. Which that might be it might not be the dynamic of the case, or for the business. I mean, that's a really good angle to take them.
okay, yeah, or save more
Okay.
money. Okay.
Maybe an example, like let's say I don't know, I'm sitting here looking at my Pac-Man machine, right? So I got a Pac-Man machine. So let's say that I build video machines or video games. So my video games are so much better than the competition's. And because of that, you're going to make that much more money because people are going to come and play it more often. When they do come and play it, they're going to play an extra game versus only just one. And we extrapolate those numbers out. The number that, the money that your business is going to make as a result of working with me is that, right? I explained that well? I get it?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I've done that because that's a great reminder. Thank you. Yeah, we used to do an impact of quality type of equation, right? Where you could plug in a number and say, okay, if your product was 10% better, what would the increased revenue or decreased maintenance cost be, right? And extrapolate that over time. That's a good way to go. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, you put a calculator on as a landing page, right? And said, what's your substandard quality part costing you per year, right?
There we go. See this kind of thing, money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got it.
Cool. There you go.
Perfect.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Great job, Scott. Anything else for us?
No, thank you. The software, I finally got my ass out and doing one. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
That's what I want to hear, man. Okay, high five, buddy. Appreciate it. Appreciate the questions as always. And I think Juan's got a question. Where's Juan going? Juan, I'm coming for you, but here he is. Juan, your hand's going down now. Juan, you're self-muted. There he is. Juan, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Fabulous.
Everything's going good. Well, I do have a big win yesterday. I did my PAS in Spanish to a Spanish business yesterday. They're actually
Cool.
a cleaning company, half $500,000. She runs it out of her house. I mean, go figure. So I did have a question. So I usually end up going, it's 45 minutes, $100,000 in 45 minutes. I end up doing about 2 or 3 of them, and then that's when I usually hit about the hour mark or the hour 15. Is that pretty average? I mean, just to gauge myself with the other coaches.
Yeah, 90 minutes is my number. Can we say 45 minutes? But then you kind of, look, you're going to have some questions, and I want to make sure that I can get through everything with you. So book 90, but 90 minutes is because remember you close in the last 15 minutes, and that's the most important. So yeah, I'd go 90 minutes.
Okay. And then, so I didn't close her yet yesterday, and I think I know why, and I want to get your feedback. So she asked me, so I did 2 or 3. She asked me, how long is it, obviously the engagement. I said, well, it's going to be a year, obviously, these 2 strategies, it'll take about 3 months or so. And then she said, how many other points how many other strategies are we going to work in the business? Well, then that's when I went into the 40 point, and I think I might have lost her then because I think I might have overwhelmed her.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so I think you just answered the question for yourself. You got to be careful to overwhelm. And just what I'd say is, look, I don't know what the future looks like, right? What we need to do, I only really want to think about 90 days, because at the end of the day, in 90 days, what we're going to do is pour gasoline on what works. We're going to take away what's not working. The problem is right now we don't know, exactly what's what. At the 90-day mark, we're going to have a really good understanding. Like, there's going to be some things that we don't get to, and the question is, do we throw those out and continue to pour gasoline on the things that are working, or are we going to start implementing something new and something that we feel like really should be done? Like, an example is Facebook ads. Everybody wants to do Facebook ads, but when you really understand Facebook ads, they're not nearly as exciting as what they might be on the surface. And there's some significantly more important things that we should get to. But if we end up doing Facebook ads, we're going to do Facebook ads. We're going to crush it. But right now, that time is not now. So look, let's just worry about getting to 90 days, baby steps, step by step. Let's get through those. Let's get through the first 30 days and first month of this, which is going to lead us to the the result we're looking for in the quarter. But baby steps, and let's just walk before we run. Like, that's the way I would have taken it versus start opening up the breakthrough 40.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I'll go back in the recording. I'll script it out. Carl, appreciate that.
That's cool. Yeah, no problem. And Pat, I'd be interested your thoughts there.
No, right on. It's a great script as well. And glad again that we're recording this. So
yeah.
Back and
just super. Again, guys, you're trying to close the client. Like, complexity, it's your enemy. Absolutely. During a sales process, you just super simple. And again, like a really good part of it is we're going to pour gasoline on what's not work. We're going to pour gasoline on what's working, and we're going to take away what's not. It's really straightforward, right? Business is like lose. And again, a great metaphor, Juan, again, maybe one I would have used in that situation, either prior to, after, or during what I just said, because it was simplicity. And I'd say, look, weight loss is $150 billion a year industry. Please explain to me why. If you want to lose weight, here's what you do. You get some sleep, you wake up in the morning, and you go for a walk. And if you can trot, if you can go for a jog, you go for a jog, and you go for a run, you go for a run. And then you don't eat sugar, you eat less, do your best. Every diet works until 7 o'clock. So at 7 o'clock, we got to really manage your psychology to get to bed without eating jumping towards the donuts. And every person on the planet will lose weight, and drink lots of water, by the way, as I say that. And basically, you're going to lose weight. So I have no idea how it's a $150 billion industry. But so the question, so that's, why is it $150 billion industry? Because our minds are so complex. Like, if you were to take the NASA computer from 1980 that was like 3 rooms and bigger than 3 dump trucks, like, that's the size of the computer. Your brain is that times 10. So your brain is your enemy. If you're in your head, you're behind enemy lines. We got to do the opposite. We got to get you out of there. So could you agree losing weight is simple? Well, I'm here to tell you that making money, building your business is simple too. The reason it's difficult is because we overcomplicate it. So again, let's just get started step by step. Let's concentrate on the first 90 days, pouring gasoline on what doesn't, what works, and then move away what doesn't work and take it from there. I don't know. Freestyling, but the weight loss metaphor is fabulous for just simplifying. You want them to think, oh my gosh, finally somebody's going to be able to make this easy for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Sound good?
Absolutely. I'll take you one more question. So I'm going to try to target a couple more Spanish businesses. Can I convert some of the PDFs over to Spanish myself? Would that be okay?
The PDF, yeah, fire us an email. We'll even possibly even help you do that. But yeah, this will be done in Spanish and Mandarin, Cantonese, etc. We're trying to get it right before we do that, but we'll be able to work something out with you, Juan, for sure. You did your book in Spanish, right?
I did.
Yeah. Awesome. Legend. Okay. So yeah, we'll be able to help you with that. So fire us an email. We'll help with that process.
Great.
Cool,
thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Good job, Juan. Good to hear you're still moving and shaking, by the way. And here we go. Look at this. Our boy. Check this out, guys.
Now, this is the current implementation calendar. And this is where we want to go with it. So it becomes this entire coaching roadmap. So you can see, what the current, how much profit you should be making, what it looks like in 5 years, if they're in front of or on time or behind, all these little steps. And when you click on a step, these kind of things, you should be able to move around. And then if you click on them, double click on them, it gives you all your coaching path, just like right here. So these are kind of things we're trying to build. And then it comes over to a snapshot report. So we know that Joe is responsible for certain things. Joe is on task with certain things. He's behind on certain things. And because he's behind, he's holding up the company a certain amount. So we have Joe's assigned activities, completed on time, he's behind, he's in queue, percent behind. The delay cost to the company profit over 1 year and 5 years because he's behind. But it's not just for Joe, it's also for the coach will be there as well. So if you're responsible for doing some certain things, this is going to put you in the target area as well. So this is kind of what we're working on, what we're trying to build, and it's going to take a few months to get there, but that's
unreal, dude. Unreal. There you go. Bingo. Nothing serious, Pat. Nothing serious, buddy.
Now,
impress us, man. Impress us.
Let's say if you delay this, if we're going to bring this over a week, and these are like 1 week time slots, you can see I'm trying to build that just with some images. But if you delay that a week, what's going to happen is everything else on this snapshot is going to get delayed as well. So everything's going to update when we move something. So to get William to program this, I don't know, Carl.
Yeah. It's gonna...
Like, let's just hope we can do that. So
here we go. Love it. Cool, man. Very, very cool. We're all excited to see the magic. The magic. Any other questions here? Oh, Gary's got a question. Gary, we're going to open you up, buddy. Or Aussie. Gary, you're live, buddy.
Good on you. Hi, everyone. That looks really very cool. So how, with that upgrade there and the deferred timelines when there's a delay, is that just going to be a process of you regularly or weekly or quarterly or fortnightly on agreed intervals enter the actual performance versus the estimate? Like you're tracking along nicely, how do you bring the reality into it? Is it just a case you have an entry screen to enter the hot numbers you need, and as far as your progress goes?
Yeah, that one we're looking at for this one. Here's the target, like what we've identified. You should be making 49,000 in that year. Because it's there, so think of this is your Gantt chart in a sense. So you've got to work on this week, and you've got to brainstorm something there. And that might be someone else's job to do that. It'll be according to the color of the, someone gets purple and someone gets orange and someone gets blue kind of deal. So everyone can go and look and say, hey, what am I responsible for this week? I can do that. Now, we don't have built in the actual numbers to say, here's what we actually accomplished. So that is a different challenge to figure out that. And every business model is different. So if we can figure it out, yeah, we'll absolutely put that in.
What about if the expectation is far bigger than what their capability is? Can you easily reset or recalibrate them, be it end of financial year, and recommence planning for the next phase? Is that a potential? Because I can potentially see overwhelm coming. Say a critical person leaves the company who's got a major role there, and there's a delay of 1, 2, 3 months as they rehire, and then someone's got to relearn the role or whatever. But meanwhile, their stats are going to be falling off the cliff. So
right. Absolutely, yeah. So even here, like this is what we've got, and let's just go to the summary page and say, hey, we're going to find 4% this year. I mean, these are not big numbers. That's one reason we want to keep them low, knock our numbers down. And it might be that we have to revisit that and say, hey, let's redo this. And I don't think we're going to get 5% with alliances and joint ventures. We might knock it down to 1%. We might take it off completely. And once this happens there, then this other screen would happen automatically. It's the same way as if I take alliances and joint ventures here and I take off, I knock it to 0. As soon as I go to priorities, it's gone from here. It just updates automatically. So that is the goal for it. I think in reality, once we get it going, we're probably going to be on it full time for about 2 months at least. And there's going to be a lot of bugs and a lot of like, well, how do you make this work? And how do you make that work? And we'll just, do our best to knock it out as best we can. And obviously there'll be beta testing around it as well. So.
Okay. One other question I had is when I was doing a pass the other day, time to implement, you're putting 1 month, and then priorities change, like the market may shift. I mean, let's use COVID as an example. So when you go into your timeline of the order to go and attack them, is there a way you can reshuffle it? For example, you put in gas on the fire, right? You find you're getting massive success or massive action in one area is really bring good success, so you want to double down on that. Is there any way you can then change the Gantt chart with
no, at this point, it's really hard because, I mean, this was really built originally as a sales tool. This was the primary purpose, was a sales tool to say, because we knew that the average coaching relationship lasted 3 months. So we're like, how can we take this and extend the coaching relationship to 4 months would be nice, because then you've grown 33%, or you can extend it to 12 months and you've grown 400%, whatever that number is. So that's what we're trying to do, to say, look, Mr. Prospect, here's what it's going to look like. And they go, oh yeah, okay. Now 3 months no longer makes sense because they're going to leave all this on the table. Yep. So because this was a sales tool and it's quite static, unfortunately, like I'd love to be able to just click this green button here and drag it left and extend it longer and all that. And in reality, programming. It's programming. So we thought, well, let's just tackle this whole thing and go for something that's more comprehensive. I mean, granted, a lot of these white boxes, they're not going to show up. These are just notes for me and for the developer and what it's for. And so, up here, people are going to choose a color. Susie wants orange, fine. Carl wants blue, great. I get purple, whatever. And so I come in every week and say, what are we going to do to make this company grow? Well, purple's mine. Hey, I got to determine test ideas. So I double click on that. I get all my steps on what I'm supposed to do. And I can then print it out or email it, whatever. So
nice.
This will just help the whole team implement. This is kind of a managerial thing, which we might not give to everyone, but it might go to the manager only. And the manager goes, hey, we got Susan here who's doing great. Thank you very much. There's no cost to the company for her delays, but we got Fred, who's a disaster. And we need to either help Fred or we need to replace him and send him to our companion.
So what about a report feature that extends off this? For example, talking about client retention and engagement, you've got to show them, you call it brightness of future or pathway, right? So 3 months, that gives you a good idea to say, produce a quarterly report that assesses your actual performance or the company's actual performance versus the estimate, which could be tied into your ROI guarantee, right? Look, if you haven't done the work, my guarantee doesn't work. So that's one avenue. It's about managing your own risk as well. But the second one is if you go and review quarterly and say, okay, this is what we planned, this is what we achieved, this is what we can do in the next quarter. So you're constantly talking about 3 months or the next quarter. And let's face it, I mean, most people are going to be, at least if they're smart, planning out 12 months, 24, and then 36. So if you can then produce a plan showing the extrapolated impact of everything, but that will cause a re-engagement, because they'll get to that quarterly benchmark and go, how are we going? How are we going? And the truth will be in front of them. And so,
absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the sweet bit is that, if you got your ROI guarantee, they've literally proven that they don't deserve it. So you're covering your risk. I mean, I did a submission last night, and the guy's a billion dollar developer, right? But I dealt with him years ago, and I just know he's not going to deliver on things he doesn't want to deliver on. So, but I've given him the ROI. But if you had something like this and they're not performing to it, you just say, look, you know, the ROI is there. Sure, we've achieved this, but by the way, he's also the sort of guy that would want to make a claim. You sort of turn around and say, well, hey, look, you haven't performed. So it then becomes a double-sided sword, both for performance and for lack of performance.
Exactly. No, I love it. Yeah, I think as we keep developing this, it's gonna open up a lot of conversation and things like that. Like, what if it could do that? And you see, I just made that note in the top left, like, hey, let's get it. Let's do that. Let's find a way to make it work. Because I think we get something like this, and we really absolve ourselves from not doing the work just because they haven't done it. But it also holds us accountable to do the work that we give ourselves to do.
Yeah, I think I was just in this discussion group yesterday, and there's some big punters there from IBM. And look, there's no doubt the biggest thing about all this is once you've got your programming, that's great, but it's about collecting your data. We're actually turning up with a crystal ball with this, and we're selling the future outcome, right? So the next bit is if you can get the data off them, that data then becomes gold. And by the way, I don't know what Carl and everyone else wants to do with the data, but that becomes a very high-level business intelligence thing across so many small businesses. You start to have data analytics that go through the roof, you know, if someone did the analysis on it. But
oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, but then your agreements that have to reflect gathering that data. But the point of the matter is we're collecting all this really core data about a lot of industry groups and a lot of specific companies, right? And we'll have a good idea about everything, their turnover, everything that the statisticians would love to know, you guys are actually collecting. And it's that quality of collection. I mean, I know what I'm trying to say is I know we're dealing in the future with this and predictive, but you're actually gathering a lot of red hot, I'll call it shit hot information about their actual positions and where they are, which is gold for monetizing down the line.
Yeah, I love it. Data. Agreed, man. I like the way you think, Gary. Hold on, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No
okay, cool. Look, that was impressive. Tell you what, guys, we've run over time. Gary, we all good there? Are we good? We got a.
Yeah. Thanks.
Are you all good? Questions? Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Great feedback. In fact, magic feedback from Gary. Okay, guys, we've come to an end here. We're over time. You guys, any more? We got a few more questions here, but I apologize. I'm going to try and keep this bad boy to an hour. So if you can do us a favor, bring it to the next call. Anything urgent, obviously, we can handle for you, but nothing urgent there. So appreciate you guys. Super appreciate the questions. Pat, we all appreciate you and your expertise, dudes. You're absolutely magic. And that's it. Pat, any parting words here before we go, buddy?
Yeah, if you've got a question, just email me, or you can email pas@noresults-nofee.com, and it'll either come to William or myself. We'll take care of it for you.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy, and thanks for everybody rowing up and some great questions and great feedback. So we'll speak to you guys next week. Thanks so much.